Hi, I'm Tilly and welcome to the Zero Cost Garden for 2026. So it's been 18 months since I first started this project, and as life does, it happens. Time slipped away from me, both in the garden and with sharing this journey with you. But what life did give me was some space, space to have a think and a reflect about my whole approach to this project. And so, before we jump into what's next for the Zero Cost Garden Project, let me fill you in on a little bit of what's been happening in the last 18 months since the last episode. And that's when we were prepping the materials for the garden. So, let's have a look at that. So this is the green manure crop from the Shed Organics, so Shed Organics Blend 2 to be precise. I chose this blend because it has a 60% clover, which is made up of 3 different clovers. So we got the crimson, the white, and the red. Also has barley, linseed, snow peas, buckwheat, cowpea, rye, millet, wheatgrass, vetch, lupin radish, and mustard, all of which create a large amount of green material that you can chop and drop or dig into the garden. So that's the Shed Organics Blend 2. I used 2 packets, so about 80 grams over this whole area. So I'd already had some other things in here, and I sprinkled these seeds over the top of the soil. As you can see, there is some other mustard seeds and oats that I already had in the garden. You can just see some leftover timber and things left. There's the oats there. Also, some cobbler's pegs were coming up. But look, a pea, little wee pea in the garden. That grew pretty well. And yeah, this is what it looked like after a couple of weeks. Nice and thick. As you see, we got our wood chips out on the center of the path there, but that's the green manure. And that's what it turned into about 18 weeks or so after. It was quite a bit. So I went in and I squished it all down. I took out some tarp and I laid the tarp over the pre-squished green manure that was there and weeds. This is sort of like on the second part. I'd already done the front third because my tarp wasn't big enough to do the whole garden, so I did a third at a time. And as you can see, the other bits are squished and I held it down with bricks. So the soil that was underneath the first section actually had turned out quite good compared to what it was before. It was quite a significant improvement. You can still see it's quite sandy, very free draining, but the amount of organic material that had incorporated itself into the sand was quite impressive, and that was really helping it retain moisture and nutrients. As you see, it can clump together there, and the color of the soil is much improved, and definitely soil and not dirt. Also on there, I used the leaves from those hedges as a form of mulch. That's my gourds that came over from my side of the garden into the zero cost garden there. As you can see, quite beautiful. And I planted in some sunflowers as well as some snapdragons. And this is what it was looking like mid-year, and I was hoping to get out and do a bit more of that for spring, but no. Because in spring, then came the ducks. 15 ducks. 15 ducks in their own little horde, to be precise. We had ended up having 3 boys and 12 girls. 6 of those girls went to a friend of ours, and 3 boys went to another friend. Here they are a little bit older, and they were scruffling around. So all our spring planting plans got put on hold because, keeping the water up to the ducks, the food up to the ducks, keeping the ducks out of trouble, having the ducks not squish anything, having the ducks not eat anything was a full-time job. And as they got older, they moved across into the zero cost garden backyard. So our neighbors actually requested for us to do the whole backyard. So while the ducks were in there, I started solarizing the section that we are going to get into using this year. So as much as I wanted to do a spring planting, it looks more like an autumn planting, and this solarization will be completely ready. So after all of that happened in the last 18 months, I took some time to really sit and reflect about where the project is going, and I've come up with a new plan for the series. We're not starting completely from scratch because there is some groundwork that has been done already, but we are starting pretty close from scratch. And what I want to do is take you through the entire process of how to start your own garden and your own low cost or zero cost garden. And that's pretty much where we're going to start from for 2026. So I do apologize that it took so long in this coming out. But I intend to keep this going throughout this year as much as life lets me. And hopefully you and I will both have very productive gardens by the end of this year. So for reference, this is what the zero cost garden actually looks like at the moment. It is very dry. We're actually having a heat wave and it's causing a lot of problems. We've got like that volunteer cherry tomato is still going strong, has some fruit on it, but it's nearing the end. But that's good because it's going to be a perfect start for an autumn garden. So that's where the front is at. And then out the back, we actually have an area getting prepped. We've just got banana leaves there as mulch for now, just to suppress any growth. We've got the banana area trimmed down as it was quite full. This is where our compost bin is going to go. And then we've got the solarization still happening. But join us for more zero cost garden content in the year.